What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a story for you guys that was sent in about a subscriber about something that's been going on in their neighborhood that I think is quite up there in terms of one of the weirder things I've seen or heard of. Basically, they have this group of neighborhood kids. I think everybody has a group of neighborhood kids, you know, but instead of them being mischievous and smashing mailboxes with bats or something normal, they've decided to make themselves a little ninja cult and go around stealing stuff out of the backs of people's cars when they're unloading it from groceries or stuff like that. And, you know, the hard and annoying part is they're actually good enough at being sneaky that nobody's really been able to catch them. But, yeah, without further ado, let's get into the Suburban Ninja team. Be sure to press the like button or no joke, no scam. They're gonna end up stealing your bagel bites, and trust me, that's not something that you want, and let's get into it. Alright guys, so the person who sent this in to me, I'm gonna name Dave for the purposes of this video, and Dave is a pretty normal dude. He's not involved in the little Ninja Foot Clan, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle bad guy scenario, but he does happen to live in his neighborhood. Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, his house is where he lives. And while that seems pretty obvious, one thing that he does know about his neighborhood is that there's a lot of kids in his neighborhood. It's like one of those neighborhoods where it's really close to a school, and most of the neighborhood houses have a family of some kind. Whether it's a kid who used to go to that school or, you know, younger kids, older kids, chances are that everybody kind of has kids. And because of that, there's lots of little groups that hang out, and Dave and his group, you know, they weren't really mischievous. They would just kind of play football in the front yard sometimes, but they knew of this other group that was around their age. And these guys, you know, were usually a little bit up to no good, and they would kind of get obsessed with something. They'd watch a movie and decide that they were gonna imitate the mafia. They were gonna imitate a gang. Basically, whatever they were really into at the time, they became obsessed with it and convinced themselves that it was, you know, the lifestyle that they needed. They were all gonna get rich doing it. And they would commit pretty hard, but, you know, it was just kind of known that they were always up to something weird, something shady, some, weird thing. And, while Kung Fu tends to usually, at least when I think of it, I think of, the 70s, you know? The 60s, 70s, Bruce Lee movies, Jackie Chan. Enter the Dragon, you know, the classic age of Kung Fu movies is usually what I think of. And, you know, ninjas have always been cool to me, but it's not as a kid, I ever really wanted to be a ninja. I wouldn't say that Kung Fu films have really been the center of pop culture for a while. But for whatever reason, the kids in this neighborhood that were a part of this mischievous group, one, night, they just decided to start watching Kung Fu movies. And they, being the type of kids who already like to kind of get up to no good, we're just fascinated by the idea of being able to use their body and ninja skills to just be able to do whatever they wanted and never have to hear anyone tell them the word no ever again. And this is about 2 months ago now. But they basically watched every Kung Fu movie. They you know, super convinced themselves that they were their own little ninja clan. They got a name for it. They all started wearing matching outfits that were all black and head to toe. They weren't outright in ninja garb or the little robe things yet. But suddenly, where this group used to kind of loudly hang out on the corner and try to get everybody's attention, they were now, acting super weird, sitting cross-legged, drinking tea, trying to do everything the way that, ninjas do. But not actual ninjas, the way ninjas do if the only thing that you've ever seen about them is a 70s Kung Fu movie. It was almost as if, you know, that was literally what they were basing everything on. Not anything in reality. None of them decided to open up good old Wikipedia. The internet's available. They were just winging it and going with the, yeah, we'll just copy everything from these movies and we'll suddenly become Kung Fu masters routine. Anyways, well, I think ninjas, in my head, are supposed to be really honorable people, kind of like the same vibe as Robin Hood, but in Japan, kind of steal from the rich, give to the poor, they take care of the people, they're not evil guys. These guys, for whatever reason, decide that, they're gonna get ninja skills, right? They're gonna get really sneaky, they're gonna have the ability to use Kung Fu, and they're just gonna use it for evil. They're not even gonna entertain the whole Spider-Man approach with great power comes great responsibility. And while obviously everyone would like to say they were surprised by this, these kids were already up to no good before. They were the kids that were smashing mailboxes, they were the kids that were having things magically go missing when they would be seen. You know, they were already that little group. So I guess they decided that they were going to take these ninja skills that they had started honing in on and using it to get even better at committing, like, stealing things. And obviously, I don't know if you guys understand, like, this neighborhood wasn't really known for being bad, so it wasn't like people were really ever super on guard. And the most common example of this would be, like, people would be coming home from the grocery store, right? And they'd pull into the garage, they leave the garage open while they're, like, top of the SUV, the back of the SUV's open, their trunk is open. And they're just kind of going back and forth taking in the groceries. And obviously during this time, you're thinking that nobody would be like ballsy enough to come up and take anything out of the car knowing you're going to be right back. Well, these kids started using their quote unquote ninja skills to like wait. Somebody would go, they'd start unloading their groceries. And while they were going inside, they would run up, take a bunch of groceries. But not a bunch from one bag, not like one bag. No. They would like go through the groceries, take one or two items that they wanted and then dip. And honestly, for a long time, nobody really noticed. For like a week or two, everybody was just like, dang, that's weird. One or two things is going missing. I must just be getting forgetful. And these guys were just using their ninja skills to like steal all this stuff. And it was never even alcohol or anything. Like it would literally just be dumb things. Like the subscriber Dave literally told me an example where at his house, his mom had sworn she had bought a box of fruit by the foot. And for some reason, she just could not, for the life of her, figure out where it went. And finally, she just thought maybe she left it at the grocery store. Like, they were literally just stealing stuff from people using their quote-unquote ninja skills to just steal fruit by the foot, dude. Like, I just feel like the life of crime is not worth it at all if you're just sticking to mid-level, groceries. And for a while, everybody was just kind of confused, but just kind of thought that they were being forgetful. And all that started changing when they started to get ballsier and just started taking stuff. Like, stuff would just go missing from people's garages, stuff would go missing from people's backyards, and nobody really knew, like, who was doing it. And as I said, at the time, the neighborhood hadn't really had any issues like this before, so they ended up calling, like, a neighborhood watch meeting, and everybody got together and was talking about it, and even that little group of kids was there. And they said they didn't know what was going on. Nobody had any idea what was going on. And up to that point, there had been like no security cameras in the neighborhood. And some people had said that they were starting to get some. So some people get their cameras and all of a sudden, wouldn't you look at that? That person is no longer forgetting anything at the grocery store. Nothing's magically going missing off their backyard. And so they start telling all of their neighbors that like, obviously at this point, somebody's stealing it, because only the houses with cameras are like no longer having stuff magically go missing. Everybody else is still having stuff drop from the cart like flies. So at that point, more and more people start getting cameras. They're setting them up, just like one little Google Home camera, a Ring doorbell, and sure enough, they like stop targeting everybody with cameras. And at that point, even the kids in the neighborhood are trying to figure it out because they're obviously getting most of the attention. All the adults are kind of like, well, it's probably a mischievous kid, da-da-da-da-da. And so they're all kind of talking about it. And whenever you have a group of people that's doing something dumb, chances are one of them is going to try to brag about it to look cool. And sure enough, one of the kids that was involved in like this ninja group that everybody had kind of seen being weird starts telling everybody else that like him and his little friends have got the perfect crime. There's no way they're going to get caught because they're so sneaky about it. They're so smart. And obviously one of the people that he's bragging to goes and tells his parent that he thinks he knows who's stealing everything. So the neighborhood gets together and they go to confront these kids when they're hanging out one day. And they kind of go up to him and are like, are you stealing our stuff? And the kids, deny it, which obviously I don't know why they would be like, yes, 100% we did it. They're obviously ballsy enough to go steal from your garage. They're ballsy enough to lie to you. Alright guys, I'm going to interrupt the video for just 1 second. On screen now is actually a PlayStation gift card. For those of you that don't know, I actually give away a gift card in every single upload here on this channel. It's a way to say thank you to everyone that's subscribed with notifications on. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications so you never miss another video. For everybody that's already subscribed with notifications on, thank you so much. I really, really do appreciate it. Your support means the world. And yeah, on that note, I'm going to shut up and let you guys get back to the video now. Thank you. And so they're confronting the kids and they're just like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. We didn't do any of that. And everybody that's there is like, no, you were talking about it. You were bragging about it. And they're just denying it. And the only problem that they're running into is it really is he said, she said. They don't see any of the stolen stuff, like where they're hanging out. They don't really have proof of it. They haven't done anything in front of a camera. Like all they have is this kid bragging about doing the perfect crime of stealing stuff that nobody notices. And obviously he kind of starts playing it off like, well, I was lying to try to look cool, da-da-da-da-da. and everybody's super suspicious of it, but like they really can't prove it. So at that point, most of the neighborhood gets cameras, and they kind of realize that it's probably best to leave it alone. And wouldn't you know it, as soon as they were confronted, stuff from this neighborhood magically goes missing. It just stops, and everybody in the neighborhood is kind of relieved for a bit, and everybody thinks it's all good. And then about a month later, one of the guys is like hanging out with everybody's dad, and Dave's dad is there. And he starts saying that the other neighborhood over that was kind of similar to them, didn't exactly have a bunch of cameras, had started having something similar happening with like stuff going missing and all that stuff, and it kind of seemed similar to what was going on there. And at that point, the little group of ninja kids had decided to keep their mouths shut, which is probably way better, you know, when you're using the power of the dragon kung fu, you must not share it. I don't really know why the kid in the first place was going around bragging about it, probably just trying to look cool. That wasn't a lie, it just wasn't the brightest idea. And what ended up happening to that guy is he got kicked out of their little group. And as soon as he got kicked out of their little group and stopped being a ninja, then they started doing this in like a different neighborhood. But it was the same thing. Nobody really knew what was happening. Stuff was going missing, but it was never like anything had gone on. These kids had really somehow managed to master the power of the kung fu and like not get caught whenever they were doing all this stupid stuff. So anyways, the neighborhood at that point kind of reaches out to their neighborhood and kind of tells them to get cameras. They give them an idea of what's going on, and once again, they go to confront the kids. The kids deny it again because they really have no proof, and sure enough, after that, that neighborhood just stops getting messed with. They were being smart about it, you know. They're like, look, we can be ninjas and take all the fruit gushers we want, but the second that they start getting onto us and paying attention, we can't do it anymore, because people started like closing their garage when they're taking in the groceries. All that good stuff. They weren't exactly being so careless anymore. But this little team of ninjas, are like these like group of kids that ended up getting obsessed with 70s kung fu movies, somehow, some way ended up like taking the skills, what they learned from those movies, and getting away with stealing groceries from two different neighborhoods for quite some time, and I don't really know if that's cool. Obviously, stealing is never cool. Just don't steal anything. Sorry, my dogs decided to get in the video. Just don't steal stuff. It's not very nice to take things. At the same time, kind of just cool in a weird story way, like almost something you would see in a sketch, oh my gosh, sketch comedy show. I've been playing too much Skate 3. Sketch comedy show about like these kids that somehow managed to get all these powers to steal all this cool stuff, and the only thing they use it on is like stuff from backyards and gushers. I will say the fact that they were like taking such small stuff is probably why they got away with it with so long. Nobody was really paying attention to what was going missing from their grocery bags, and if it was, like they said, dude, they probably were like, I must have forgot it at the store. Anyways, after that, up to this point, obviously it could still be going on in a different neighborhood, but as of right now, things have cooled off a little bit. Some stuff still goes missing sometimes, but once again, nobody really has any proof of anything. So, yeah, as it currently stands, there's just this group of kids out there that has the stealth abilities of, like, Predator and the thieving abilities of Lupin the Third, and just be careful, lock up your car at night, because they might be going counter-state-wise, you know? Maybe the ninja team is going interplanetary. They're going to start stealing stuff from Mars when Elon gets there. Just be on the lookout for realsies. Anyways, guys, I think that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, I would really, really appreciate you taking a quick second to press the like button and subscribe, turn on notifications if you haven't already, and comment down below. If you don't know what to comment down below, just go ahead and comment the word ninja down there. It doesn't even sound real anymore. I've said it so much. It really does just help the video hit recommended. You know, that makes me a happy camper. If I'm a happy camper, you get better videos. You get better videos. I get more likes. It's an endless cycle. You know what I mean? Everyone wins. So press the like button. Other than that, if you really want to support the channel and use drink G Fuel, if you use code SCRUBBY at the checkout, it's the best energy drink for gamers. You get a bit of a discount, 10 to 30%, depending on the time of the month. So, yeah, be sure to use code SCRUBBY if you're ever getting yourself some G Fuel. It helps you out. It helps me out. Everyone is a winner. Other than that, you can also really support the channel by going ahead and getting yourself some of the merch that's on screen now. Wow, isn't it terrific? Yeah, that's right. Down in the description, you can find a link to the merch store. It's pretty cool if you ask me, even though I'm biased. And, yeah, on that note, that's going to do it. I have a podcast, the Scuffed Cast, also in the description. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.